This is Rob Passons with Messenger TV. We're at Lundine's Tackle Castle on the south side of Mille Lacs Lake. Fishing opener's coming up here, and Bill Lundine has agreed to take some time out from his spring cleaning to tell us what we need to know to catch some fish on opener. First off, what day is opener, Bill?
Opener this year is on May 9th. We're expecting a good opener. It's going to be hopefully better than what we saw last year, which wasn't a bad opener, but we're looking for better things yet.
And if you were going out this year, what would you be taking? If the basics, what do you need in your boat?
Basics, we're going to take a two-step approach today. And we're going to do that, show you a little bit of tackle that's going to be involved in those two steps, and see if we can't catch a few walleyes.
Terrific.
The first thing that we're going to do is we'll split it into daytime and nighttime fishing.
Perfect.
Let's start with the daytime fishing, because that's what so many people, they make this pilgrimage up to Mille Lacs, they're tuned into the day, and they just want to get out there and enjoy it. And you know, we've seen it from short sleeves all the way to snowmobile suits.
I froze that first time I went out there.
I think we're going to go with the short sleeve solution this year.
All right.
Just see how that goes. The first thing I want to show you is probably one of the more accepted approaches to spring walleye fishing is going to be the Lindy rig. Now, I have a reasonably long rod here. It's a 7-foot rod. I like to go at least 6'6" for something for this type of fishing, and we'll get into those reasons here in a minute. This particular one I've got rigged up with a floater. A lot of traditionalists will like to use just a plain long snell. But let's go back to the
floater is basically a jig that floats, right?
Exactly.
I mean, okay.
Exactly. What
Hold that up there. Let me have a look. All right.
What I want to do here is I want to come off of my line. I want to put it into a snap swivel so that we don't get a bunch of line twist. I'm going to have a fluorocarbon leader. Typically, this leader will be somewhere from 6 to 10 feet long.
Okay.
When I run a floater, I shorten it up just a little bit. I don't see that 10-foot leader being an asset to me with a floating jig head. Now, we can put this, at the end of this, we can put this floating jig head, we can put a plain hook. I like to use a colored hook. Don't skimp on your hooks. This is a critical connection between you and the fish. This is something that needs to be ultra sharp. They make a lot of premium quality hooks out on the market right now. And most of those hooks will come in the standard gold or bronze, but we like to think of black as a great finish. Red is one of the more popular finishes, and then there's just a wealth of fluorescent colors that they like to offer.
What size hook we talking about for walleye?
I like to look at something either in a size 4 or a size 6 octopus hook. I think that satisfies most of our needs. The 4 typically for a leech. The 6 often when I'll go to a night crawler, I like to use that number 6 hook.
Now Lindy rigging is for trolling, slow trolling or drifting. Is that right?
Slow trolling or drifting. What we'll do here is we want to make sure that we have one of a couple things on here. The traditional Lindy weight looks like this. That weight will go above your snap swivel, and this is something that we're going to, for lack of a better term, we're going to drag along the bottom. We will actually like to...
Oh, so you're dragging the weight and then the floater comes up off the bottom.
Yes, sir.
I get it.
We would like to hop it or drag it. The only problem with dragging, if you're up on the north end in the sand, that's a great idea. If you're down here in the rocks along Mazamani Point or over by Anderson's Reef, you're going to donate a lot of these. So we like to hop that rig along. There's a couple other ways to do this. Some people will just take simply a split shot and put that into, let out a little bit more line so that that's way back behind the boat. That's another widely accepted approach. We also have the convenience of snap-on sinkers. These are sinkers that come on and off your line instantly. The wind picks up, we need a little more weight, we get into deeper water. Anytime you need a different weight.
Is that one of those that pops off if you get hung up?
Well, that was the original concept, but I wouldn't I wouldn't bank on that.
Okay.
that was a well thought out thing that never really panned out.
So on this you're going to put a minnow or a leech or what?
I like to start with, if you're ever going to fish minnows, of course spring is the time that we want to be doing that.
Yeah.
I'm going to want to have a few leeches along. I would say that leeches are going to be your most widely used bait at this time of year. And
for Lindy rigging, you're going to be putting them through the lip, right?
Well, on a leech, you'll put it in through the sucker. On your minnow, you'll put it through the lip.
Okay.
And then on a crawler, you'll want to just nudge it right inside the nose, but well ahead of the collar.
All right. Let's move on to the...
Okay, so...
the next rig you got there is a slip bobber. That's one of the most popular ones on the lake, isn't it? I mean... This
is something we're going to do more in the evenings.
Okay.
In the evening time, now this particular one I've got rigged up with a jig, but once again, we're going to assume that we can put a plain hook on here,
right?
A smaller jig. But let's say if we're going to use a jig, let's not go much over that 16th ounce jig. Let's try and keep it in a 32nd, 64th if you must. Otherwise, the 16th or the 32nd is a great size for your jig. No bigger. And again, we've got an assortment of colors: glow in the dark, not glow in the dark, two-tone, eyes, no eyes.
Looks like you got a leader on this one too. Is that?
I do. When I hook these up, I'll usually put a dropper on there of about 18 inches to 2 feet, tied off to a swivel once again. Once again, fluorocarbon leader. I'm a big believer in fluorocarbon.
Yeah.
Small weight below this, and a premium bobber. You know, you can buy these cheaper plastic bobbers for next to nothing, and that's what you get, next to nothing.
Yeah. They're
going to wear out on the 5th or 6th trip on you.
What size is that line? What?
There again, I like to use somewhere about 8 pounds.
Okay.
These have got a metal insert in them, a brass insert. That bobber is not going to wear out on you. You will lose that bobber before you wear it out.
All right.
I've got a bobber stop here. Now, right now I'm only fishing about 4 feet deep, but we'll take this and put it, of course, to whatever depth of water we're fishing, typically 8 to 10 feet that time of year.
So this is how this works. It's bobber stop.
Yep, the bobber slides up as far as
it goes.
That's how deep we're going to be fishing today.
All right.
So here again, I've got a 7-foot rod. I like to use this because, especially with bobber fishing, once that bobber goes down, I take my slack up, I go ahead, get it to where I'm going to set that hook, and if I miss something, if I miss that little kink of line, or if there's a little bit of slack out there, this 7-foot rod is going to be more forgiving than, let's say, a 5.5.
Yeah.
When I go ahead to set the hook, I've got that extra sweep that's going to stick that hook in, bury that hook in solid. Now I've got my fish on, I just got to get them in the boat.
Okay.
So that's the deal rod-wise. Now where would we use these? I would take in the evenings. Now, other than the first night, we're going to be limited somewhat to where we're going to be able to fish. So we're probably going to do the Lindy rig gig during the daytime, the slip bobber in the evenings. We're going to be on the shallow rock reefs. One other thing that I failed to mention, the beauty of the lighted bobber.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yep, this can be replaced with a lighted bobber. They're reasonably inexpensive. They light up. You put the cap back on, you can see this thing just like it's a neon sign out there.
And plus, there's nothing cooler than seeing that bobber fading into the mist as it goes down.
That's right. It's just screaming walleye, walleye, walleye.
Yeah, that is fun.
Let's take a look at a couple of the spots that we're going to be fishing here.
Sure. Yeah.
So some of the places that we're going to fish during the daytime will include what people love to call the sand. And the sand is this area across the crown up here.
Yeah.
But specifically in front of Carlsona, Reddick Creek, Red Door. You get down here a little bit further by Miramar. There's a nice stretch of sand out in here.
Now that's the Lindy rig, right?
This is Lindy rigging during the daytime. Another thing that gets a lot of play is this area through Vineland Bay. There's a nice ridge that runs across here. I would like to follow that ridge on or off it.
Do you float across that ridge or with the ridge?
Well, we'll find where the fish are and see what the fish want. And then, of course, that's what we'll be doing there. We'll take that approach here. We've got a very similar feature over here, except for the hole. We've got a very similar feature over here just south of Big Point. We'll be doing the same thing through that area there. These are going to be some of our better daytime spots. Your better evening spots are going to include Indian Point, Big Point, Mazamani Point. You see a pattern here? Point. Okay. Agate Reef is an awesome early season area. We've got this hole up here off the Garrison Reef, the Miramar Reefs. Anything that's going to give you 8 to 12 foot rock bottomed structure.
Well, thanks for not telling them about Hawkbill Point. That's my secret.
Hawkbill.
No, don't. Oh wait, now it's out of the bag.
All right, but this is going to give us some starting points, you know, and there's a ton of other stuff we could go into.
Make sure the lights work. Make sure you got vests in the boat. Make sure you got stickers on the boat.
For crying out loud, don't forget to put the plug in.